All right, great episode for you guys today. Thanks for joining us. My guest, Andrew Vinson, a singer-songwriter from Tallahassee, Florida. You're going to hear all about it. He was a firefighter. He was a painter. He's still a good painter. Well, you're going to hear the story about how he painted my house like 15 years ago, and it's a good one. And there's a bunch of good stories. You're not going to want to miss Hell Follows Me. So, right before we get to him, got to tell you about MXPX. We got a few shows happening. We're coming in September to Bend, Oregon. Friday, September 26th, Bend, Oregon, Century Center. Saturday, September 27th, Boise, Idaho, Treefort Music Hall. Tickets on sale for those. Quebec City, we're coming to Theatre Capitol on Friday, October 24. And then Saturday, October 25, we'll be in Montreal at M. Telus. Tickets are on sale for those as well. Don't wait. They're moving. Those shows are going to be here before we know it. It's going to be insane. That's it for now. More soon. We have a bunch of merch at mxpx.com. Grill stuff. We have vinyl. We're running very low on Buffalo vinyl. So if you wanted Buffalo, if you're like, I'll get Buffalo eventually, I think we have like 11 or less vinyls left. And that's like as of a few days ago. So we're running low on some things in the vinyl department. But we try to keep things stocked. But inevitably, it's just not always going to be possible. We appreciate you, though. Thank you. We have a split 7-inch 100 and direct hits song 110. This is binary blue variant, and then there's also JavaScript black. I had to just go into my memory hole and find the names of those things. Anyway, that's all at mxpx.com, as well as we have a t-shirt that has this design on it. So if you like t-shirts with cool stuff, this one is awesome. And that's it. So appreciate you guys. If you want to call in, the number is 360-830-6660. Call in, leave a voicemail, ask me a question, get me going on a topic, whatever it is. I would love to have you and hear from you. All right. More Music Mondays will be coming. I've got one. I don't know. I'll do one soon. It's been a very busy couple weeks. I say that every week. That's adulthood, right? Like, all right, next week things will slow down. Like, it just never, ever happens. So here we are. My guest, Andrew Vinson, he's a great dude. It was awesome to catch up with him and just to get to know him even a bit more than I already did. So here he is, Andrew Vinson. Man, so how you been, Andrew? We got a story. You got to tell the story. But welcome to the show, man. Welcome to
thanks,
the podcast.
Man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. You in Florida? Where are you at?
Yeah, I'm in Tallahassee, Florida. Yeah, that's where I'm based out of. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, I honestly, like, when you told me that you played that show, I can't remember the show in Tallahassee except for, like, it was a big space.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people.
Yeah, smaller crowd. Yeah.
But it was a fun, like, we had, like, 2 nights there, I remember. So, to those that don't know what we're talking about, I did a tour with Louis D. Fabrizio, Gasoline Heart. Me and him went out and just did a bunch of just hood rat kind of shows. It was so much fun. But one of the stops was Tallahassee, and that's where we first ran into each other.
Yeah, that's where I first met you. And there's a funny story with it. I was working at this grocery store, and I told the guy, hey, I'm on the show in a month. I need this day off. And he just kept pushing it off. Day before, I was like, hey, that show's tomorrow. I'm playing that show. He's like, if you don't come to work tomorrow, you're fired. I was like, oh, I'm not coming in. And so I went and played the show. It was awesome. We had a blast. So many of my friends were there that were just love MXPX. And then I was jobless for 6 months. And I was like broke. I was eating at Moe's. They would give out free chips and salsa. So I would go into Moe's at lunchtime in the lunch rush, and I would get chips and salsa. It was gnarly, but it was worth it.
Oh my God. At the time, if you knew what the show was going to be at the time, you're like, man, I should have done it.
No, I would have still done it.
That's great, man. That's a great story. I mean, it's hard times, but hard times really, they can make you who you are, and you're great.
For sure.
Listening to your new songs, you got a couple new songs out, Left Cross, Chasing Highs, new album coming. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
I really feel like you need to do some living in order to like be able to be an artist, to say something. You know, there's obviously different types of artists. You know, some people are just singing pop music and you don't really have to go out there and live. But I think, honestly, I really feel like almost any kind of music, you need to like have experiences in order to relate to your audience, right? Definitely. Who's going to connect to you if you don't have any experiences that they've had?
Yeah. And I feel like now that a lot of the songs I'm writing, like Left Cross, it's a story about a time I got in a fist fight with these guys, and I was all heartbroken, sitting on a balcony, and these college kids came walking by and started talking some trash. So I said, wait for me, I'm coming down there. And of course, like, it didn't have anything to do with them. It just had to do with some heartache and some stuff I was going through at the time. And I can't write a song about that, like, right after it happens. So it's like, that's over 10 years old, that story. But then I was just kind of writing about how that situation wasn't even about those people. Obviously, the right thing to do was not go down and try to fight three guys at once. But it was actually just about my heartache with stuff at home. You know, it didn't have anything to do with those people. And it takes a while to get the perspective to be able to, like, write a song about something like that. So, yeah, it definitely helps to have lived a little.
Perspective, man. For sure.
Yeah.
I remember when I wrote Arrested in El Paso Blues, it was about our trip from through El Paso. We were heading towards Dallas. We got pulled over, arrested, arrested for a minute. They let us go eventually. They were looking for bigger fish, you know. So they had something on us, but we were like small fish in a big pond. But I wrote it right after that happened. Like we were on the road to Dallas, and I start penning the lyrics and coming up with something, and that doesn't happen too often for me because I'm usually in your boat where I need some years or a little time, a little space to really kind of let percolate. And I do that not just with experiences. I do that with actual ideas sometimes. Sometimes I'll write a song like El Paso right away. It's done, perfect. And then other times I'll write a part or a song and it just sits there for years. And I'm just like, I don't know what to do with this, you know? Yeah. And finally a time in your life comes where you're like, I know what to do with this. So, so you have to have that lived experience sometimes to know what to do with certain songs. And, you know, maybe I take songwriting and experiences towards songwriting too seriously, but like, honestly, like anything bad that happens, I'm always like, inspiration, you know, I just, good. It's not like it's good, but it's something good will come. And that's always my perspective on most things these days, you know, and it's not always like right away, you know, because right away you're pissed, you're mad. But after a while, you're like, okay, I see why things were going that way, and I didn't have the mind to really take it all in. That's very normal. Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. So Chasing Highs, tell us about that. That's the other new one that I've been listening to both. They're both good songs, great songs, man.
Thank you, man. Chasing Highs. So when I was a teenager, I was 19. Heavily influenced by like MXPX, all these bands that I grew up on, the Warped Tour scene. And so I decided I was going to get my ears pierced. And so I got my ears pierced. And I came home, and my dad just asked me, hey, when are you going to leave? When are you moving out? And I was like, I'll move out this week, you know, with nothing lined up. And so I went and I moved into the storage unit. And they had these storage units that had like you roll up the door and then there's another wall with a little AC unit. It's supposed to be like a band practice space. I was like, well, I could live in that. It's like $150 a month. And so that's what I did. I lived in there for a summer, and I was coming from this super Christian home. And this was like the first time I ever started like partying. And so that song Chasing Highs is just kind of about like being completely heartbroken about how things had fallen apart at home. But then I got all these buddies coming over to the storage unit, and we're drinking Four Locos until we throw up, and smoking weed and I didn't party at all when I was at home. I was just like a completely, just good behaving kid for the most part. But yeah, then I kind of went buck wild for a couple of years. So it's kind of about that.
Yeah. Like your Rumspringer.
Yeah.
The Amish, the Amish kids get let loose.
Yeah, exactly.
They just go crazy.
It was like that. We do a lot of hey misters because we weren't 21. So you walk across to the gas station and be like, hey man, some guys walk in and be like, hey, you buy a pack of beer, I'll give you, a couple extra dollars. And we did a lot of that.
Hey, mister. That's good.
Yeah, that gets you in all kinds of situations.
That's good. So what else was growing up down there? Did you grow up in Tallahassee or was it?
I grew up right outside in Havana.
Havana.
Havana's like a small town with like a couple thousand people. And Tallahassee's not that big either, but I mean, it's a lot bigger than Havana. But growing up down here I love Tallahassee. It's beautiful. Most of the music kind of passes over. People are either headed to Jacksonville or down to Tampa or Orlando. But I grew up in Havana, a small town. There's a creek in the woods. We're out there playing all the time. I mean, you can't beat it. It was good. Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool, man.
Yeah.
What about, so how did music get into it? I mean, you were talking about how you've been a firefighter, but you've obviously been a musician from an early age. Like you got into music. How did that happen?
Yeah, I got into music. I guess I was just sitting at church. I'm from like a very Christian household, and I just watching the guy play, and it just at church, and I was like, man, I want to do that. Whatever he's doing, that is cool. And so at 11, I got my first guitar, and I started learning. It was slow learning, and then after I started playing guitar, I was really only listening to like Christian stuff, like Keith Green and Larry Norman, and then a little bit of country radio. But then I found, I was at the Christian bookstore and found Tooth and Nail. So then I found MXPX, The Terminal, something about The Terminal. I don't know if they had one record.
The Terminal. No, I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
It wasn't early. Was it early on? That wasn't Tooth and Nail. That wasn't Tooth and Nail.
It wasn't early on.
Oh, okay. So later.
It wasn't early on. It was later. Because I got into.
So what year is this, you think? Approximately. It doesn't have to be exact.
I remember watching the live streams y'all were doing when y'all were putting out Secret Weapon. That's when I was like really into it.
Wow. 2008, 9.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there. 2008 maybe. Yeah. I mean, music was rough right around there. Like it was so hard to, because things were changing. Streaming was becoming a thing. Record sales were down. Yeah, I remember those were tough years. 2007, 2008. We were doing just a couple shows here and there. That's why I was doing the acoustic thing, because I was just like looking for things to do, and we didn't have a manager really, and so it was like wild times for me. So you came in a little later than the 90s. So mid 2000s. I came in late to
the party for sure. Yeah.
Well, you're young.
I started getting into all that kind of music around 2006, and then it kind of took off from there. But yeah, and then when I was 15, I started getting in bands. So I started out in a local metal band, and then I slowly worked into some pop punk bands, and then I did some rock and roll bands, and that was kind of it for the bands. Then once everybody hit 25, it felt like everybody's lives just got too full to pull a band together. It was, I don't know, everybody's got different priorities. So then I started playing acoustic, and trying to pursue that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you did that for a while, and then obviously you weren't necessarily ever a full-time musician back early days. So you got into, what else did you do before firefighting?
Before firefighting, oh man, I did everything.
Just everything. So you kind of
everything. I did everything, and then I got working for this guy who painted houses, but he's really good at it and super OCD. Okay. And, because I thought, you just, smear some paint on the wall, you're good to go. But this guy was he was on me. And the first day I came and painted with him, I thought I knew how to paint. And at the end of the day, he just kind of was hey, I'm really disappointed with you. I thought you said you knew how to paint. I was I thought I did. He's well, if you're going to work for me, I'm going to train you. And so I spent 5 or 7 years working for him.
Question, was that before or after you came and painted my house?
That was before. No, that was after. So no. I had been painting for like 5 or 7 years before I came to your house.
All right.
So I was already tipped up.
No complaints, by the way, at all.
Good.
People are like, wait, what happened? We didn't tell that story.
No, I can't believe that you let me do that.
Oh my God. Could you tell the story as if you're telling your buddies or something? Because I want to hear it.
I was, at this point, I was on the road in this RV that I had remodeled. Me and my wife were in the RV, and I was painting kind of on the road. I'd booked 2 acoustic tours, and now we were like living in this like Home Depot parking lot in Watsonville, California. And I'd been listening to the guys from Emery's podcast, and I kind of always noticed how they kind of leverage anything they can do. They leverage it and make it work for them. I thought, well, I know how to paint. How can I leverage that? And I was like, I'll just reach out to the first person I thought it was you. I was going to reach out to him, see if he needs any painting done, and trade it for studio time, which I thought, 0% chance that's going to work out. And you message back and you're like, yeah, give me a phone call. I was like, oh. And so then I called you and you're like, yeah, let's do it. And that's kind of how it lined up. And then we ended up going home. But my wife was pregnant and she was ready to be off the road. And so I was like, all right, let's head back home. And I'll fly out. And so then I brought my buddy with me, and we flew to Bremerton, and then we painted your house. And it was a great trip.
That's wild, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing that. Yeah, I mean, like I said, that was kind of like in those days where I was, I mean, I think I'm still scrappy, but like I had a lot to just do myself, like,
yeah.
And at the time I had Brad, who Bradley Miranda was my studio engineer, and I had awesome, a few guys before that, but ultimately he became like the guy, and so I was just like, okay, I was the guy that was like trying to bring him people to record into my studio or whatever, and so I was like, okay, well, you'd have to pay somebody to paint your house, and if they're painters, just have Brad do it. I'm already paying him monthly a salary. Yeah. So it's like he can sit around and do nothing, or I could make him do the work that I'm already paying him for. So it was like juggling, all these like fake finances, but
it worked out.
It worked. Yeah.
He was awesome to work with, and he was excited about the music, which was like super refreshing. And we had a blast. And when we were there, we went, me and the buddy I brought, we went hiking on Mount Rainier. And like, of course, marijuana is legal up where you're at, and it's not where we are. So we got these like syringes of oil that you like put on a granola bar, and we just we were like hiking up this mountain. I'm amazed we made it back. But and the whole trip was great. I don't think those songs I recorded are my strongest songs. There's one song on that EP. It's called the West Coast EP. There's one song on there that I love. But we had a great time, and Brad, he played drums on it, and it was awesome.
That's rad. Yeah, I mean, like I definitely feel like you've just going back through some of your old catalog and then listening to your new stuff. I feel like you've grown. You're like you're the person you are now, and you're writing good songs. And when I'm listening to them, I'm like, okay, that's substantial. Like it's not just some acoustic guy poking around and trying to do some. It's actually like that's a good song. All right. Yeah. So I appreciate people that put hard work in, and the fact that you were willing to paint and not just most people they don't want to do real work. They want to go and plink around and have their moment in the studio or on stage or whatever it is, and they don't really want to work. And the work is. It's always in between those moments, it's leading up to, it's doing the work and making sure you're not wasting your time and your money, going in there and being like, I don't know what I want to record, or, some people have that luxury, but even though I have a studio, I don't even do that. I meticulously try to kind of have a plan and an idea of how this song is going to go. And, when it's with MXPX, of course, we're just like, constantly doing little tweaks, little changes. Okay, are we ready? Probably, but probably it's going to change again. So we're just always aware of just doing the work, putting in the work. But back to real work, I mean, painting, right? Yeah. Like I think for me it was like I've done that a few times, because I've grown up around musicians such as yourself. I've gone to open mics and I've done a lot of miscellaneous jobs, or in the early days at the very least, from construction to landscaping and just general maintenance on rental properties and things like that.
Oh yeah.
So like, I just feel like if anybody has those skills and I need something done. So I had on the studio here, we had this garage. It was outside it was probably there when you recorded back then. I don't
Probably.
know. I mean, it was pretty early when I got this taken out, but it was rotten. It was condemned. We just were using it as storage or whatever. So finally was like, okay, let's get this removed, and talk to my buddy Lumpy, who had a band, and we just bartered for like studio time versus them tearing that thing down. And so I'm like, so you got like 4 days of recording, good to go.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I think as far as songwriting, I feel like my songwriting has been like a slow grind as far as getting better. I feel like I'm kind of a late bloomer to writing good songs. It's taken me a long time to write songs that I feel like I'm proud of. And then over the course of this last, since I was at your studio probably 10 years ago, I did a lot of recordings where it's like I'm still writing songs, but music's on the back burner that like I don't feel like I put my full like effort as far as like doing layers on the song. It was kind of like, all right, there's the song. We recorded it, acoustic guitar, a couple harmonies, a little lead part, it's done. And this record wasn't like that. This record's like the first one since leaving the fire department and me being like, okay, I'm gonna make this record as good as I could possibly make it with my budget and with my abilities. And so it's been cool to add like some of the tracks. We have like mandolin, we did like Hammond organ on, and some piano and harmonica and classical guitar, and like just really like thicken the songs up. So that's different than in the past where it's just kind of like, all right, this is just kind of something on the back burner. It's like now I'm trying to like create something that has some depth to it, like you're saying. Yeah.
Let me ask you this: as an independent artist, are you on a label?
No label, just independent.
Independent artist. Like, how do you? And it's hard for everybody, but like, how do you? Because every songwriter, such as myself, we think we're writing the best songs, right? So like, we all go out there and like, how do you make it as Andrew Vinson? Like, are you doing kind of your local circuit? You get your gigs that will pay, whatever it is, 500, 1,000 a night. I don't want to, whatever. I'm just naming round numbers, but whatever it is, you can get a bunch of those gigs and it adds up to, oh, I'm making good money a month or whatever. Or are you thinking, no, I need to invest money and not worry about getting the gigs? Because it's almost like a full-time job doing the small gig around versus a full-time job doing the online social media promo, doing the podcast circuit, doing all the stuff that could get you a bigger audience maybe in the world, but you're not making the money that you would make at the local brewery, at the saloon, at the ladies' night on Thursday, whatever, right?
Right.
So what are you kind of focusing on?
I'm kind of doing a mix of it all. Because it's like, I want to be playing live so that I'm really sharp. I don't want to just be doing online stuff so then I show up and it's like, well, he seems kind of rusty and the set's clunky. So I'm doing the brewery gigs, but I'm also trying really hard to get like the original music gigs, where it's not that 3-hour slot. Yeah. Because those shows and those crowds are completely different for the most part. I mean, I'll get a few people after like a brewery gig that come up and they're like, hey, I really enjoyed that. And they'll start following me and listening to my music. But it's different than like that audience that paid a ticket and they're there to see live music. I feel like they seem to buy in a little bit more and be a little bit more attentive. It doesn't feel like you're interrupting their evening at the brewery. So I'm trying to do both of those. The brewery gigs help because they pay for my studio time, and I feel like the live music shows, like a real show, is good for morale. Like it builds me up. I feel great about it. So I'm doing a mix of both of those kind of shows and trying to kind of slowly spread my area out. Right now I'm going kind of from Tallahassee out to like Birmingham. That's kind of as far as I've gone this year. And then later this year I'm going up to Chattanooga and hitting Birmingham again. So I'm kind of doing these small circles where I can hit the same venues and kind of try to build an audience. And then I'm sending a bunch of emails for booking, which is like, it's hard when you don't have like really anything to offer. It's like, hey, I don't have much of a following at all, but I'd love an opportunity to play your venue. So that's not a great sales pitch, but that's basically, what you got to do. And then I'm doing like a music video I've done a music video for the first 2 singles, and I'm doing one for the third one. So I'm trying to do a mix of all of it, the social media, the gigging, podcast, anything. Just, I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out because there's no clear path forward.
It sounds like you're on a good path. I mean, it's until you really put in a ton of money, millions of dollars, you're not going to go big time like a Taylor Swift type, artist, but it's all about investment, honestly. Yeah. And that part of that is time investment, your own emotions and time and all of that. And then the other thing is, of course, money. Money will follow eventually, but you got to take those steps and you got to build it. So you're doing the right thing. You're in the building stages. Every big artist started. I mean, not every big artist started where you are, but there's plenty of kind of big country acts that kind of just start where you are and they get an opportunity and they get a song that hits or whatever it is, right? So, man, but at the same time, like, there's so many different levels. So there's that level, but I'm at a pretty big level, and it's like nowhere near that level, but it's pretty big, and it's like it's good. But we're constantly trying to move forward, because if you don't try to move forward, you're going to be back, because you're going against that tide, you're going against that stream that's pushing the other way. So I mean, you're doing it right. I think being on this podcast is a good start.
This is a great start. I really appreciate you having me.
And I don't promise
you. I was like, there's no upside for him to have me on here. So I'm so glad you had me on.
Dude, of course there's upside. You're part of my story. You've been in my studio. You painted my house. Like, this is actually perfect. Like, the fact, it's perfect that you're here. So thank you for doing it. And obviously, like, it's not like it's so important to do my podcast, but I appreciate that people that do listen actually do get into a lot of the artists that we have on. So,
I know. I was listening to your episode with the guy from Dirty Nil. Yeah. And then I went and looked him up. I was like, this band rips. They're so good. So I've been jamming them, painting this house the last 2 days. That band's amazing. So
exactly. Exactly. So, I mean, like, we have a great community, and when you hear something every now and then, you might just look it up. I mean, it's so hard to find a new band because there are a lot of, you ever go to an artist and then you go down below where it's like a like artist and you're like, it's not really alike, how did they get this, like, from this? But, that happens to me a lot. So I appreciate when I find a band like Dirty Nil, and I found them through Thomas Nesky. He was like always talking about them going to their shows, and they're still a fairly small band, but but the people that go to their shows love them, and that's what we all want. We want a good audience, a good core group of people, a community that love what you do, and you just keep feeding, keep doing what you do, and for some reason, some group of people just love it, right? So, there's, you can just piss on the tapes and people will buy it, right? But
at some point,
I try not to, but
that was one thing when I decided, it was last year, I decided I was going to like go for this music thing again. I was looking at my Spotify and I had 7 monthly listeners. I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta come up with some way to like have small goals, like, so that I can feel like I'm making progress. So my goal was to play 25 to 30 shows in this year and reach 100 monthly listeners. And so I'm over 100 monthly listeners, and I'm going to hit my 30 shows this year goal. And then next year I'm going to try to take it up and like have actual attainable goals. Cause I think when I was younger, my goals were like, I was like, oh, this is going to happen, and then we'll be on a world tour. It's just not realistic. Just completely unrealistic. So small goals, they're helping me kind of keep on track.
Dude, that is so cool, man. Congratulations. I think that is what it really is about is just incrementally moving forward. It's not about getting to the stadium. I mean, it really isn't. It really isn't. It's like we see things on the internet constantly, right? And it's like, oh my gosh, that's so huge. Most of that's fake. Even the big crowds, it's really easy to fake that stuff. So it's like the more you learn, the more like that's even more depressing that it's fake. Like I want it to be real. I want all these So yeah, it's a wild world out there, and that's why they're saying like 2025 and on and beyond. As an artist, you should just be more real with your audience, be a real person. And I don't know if Tom Chichilla, our manager, would agree with that, because he's always like, no, you should be yourself, which is a rock star. And don't tell people when you're anxious about something or whatever, whatever.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that's an interesting take.
There's different takes, but that's kind of his job, is to keep me being an icon or a big, this thing.
Yeah.
For me, I'm just trying to be real and connect with people and write songs that connect with people, because I'm writing a lot right now. And so, it's always the back and forth between have confidence, know you're a badass, because you should do that, Andrew, but also have humility and be a real person and take time to hear other people's stories. I think all of that is important. Yeah.
I think as far as like, when I was younger, we'd play shows and I would engineer the set so that there would be like no talking in between the songs, because I was nervous to talk. Mm-hmm. And so we'd do like a fill in between the songs straight into the next song. And then acoustic, over these last couple of years, I've started like slowing down and telling the stories behind the songs in between the songs. And like that has really helped me to like connect with the people there. And I think sometimes just a dude with an acoustic guitar, it's just kind of easy to just be like, oh, it's background noise, He didn't put a whole lot into this. But then if you have a story and you're willing to put yourself out there, like you're saying, and like just be honest and vulnerable, like, hey, this song's about this and what I was going through at this point, people seem to clue in and like lock in. And then you play a song and people are actually listening and they're getting to know you. So that's been something I've been working on, trying to get that right.
Absolutely. You nailed it. You tell that story, and then all of a sudden they want to know what's going to happen in the song. They're listening for the song, going, "Oh, I want to hear the story now." So, I think you kind of what we try to do is combine those two, which is have your interludes with music, but also there's times where I talk, and so there's never a time where you're just sitting there tuning. So like if Tom's tuning, I'm talking, or if I'm not talking, it's some sort of drum thing or a guitar thing is happening, and I'm like, doing, walking around, or, so like I always, you kind of do have to engineer your set. Once you get, I mean, you're saying you do it in a coffee shop or a brewery.
Yeah. I mean, you want it to feel like a show.
But I never did that then. It's just like once we got to these bigger stages, I realized, oh, we should probably put on a show. There's lights. There's people paying tickets to be here. But it's funny. I'm a little late bloomer in that respect. But I always probably inherently realized, oh, you're entertaining the crowd in some way or another. But yeah,
for sure. That's awesome.
Wow. Wild times, man. Well, what do you like to talk about? Do you like to talk about songwriting? Because I always do. Do you like to talk about AI in music? That's kind of coming to fruition a lot lately. This it is. I can't remember the name of the band that has like all these fake plays.
Yeah, Velvet Sundown or something.
Yeah, Velvet Sunrise.
Something.
What's your take on that? AI music, Velvet Sunrise.
I don't know. It's kind of a bummer. Like, I don't like talking about it because it feels like a bummer. But I think fans of music, they like to connect with an artist. And so I think people connect with those songs from AI, but I don't think it's the same as having the person behind it. Yeah. I think people always want to connect to the artist and feel like that person's talking to me. they helped me get through this point in my life. Not that computer helped me get through this point in my life that was really hard.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think we're gonna be all right.
I think we're gonna be all right too.
Yeah.
I don't worry about AI. I think it's a tool. I think if you want to, I kind of use it like Google. If I use it, I kind of half and half. Sometimes I'll just Google something, but sometimes I'll look up like things about my toe. I'll look that up on ChatGPT. But aside from that, I mean, I'm not worried about my songwriting and my job because we've been around for so long, and people that like MXPX for a reason. So, and I'm not really worried about new artists either. I think it's a problem with streaming and things like that because it's taking revenue share away from real people. But I never really, that's always like, okay, that can pay the electric bill or that can pay, whatever. It's not like I'm living on streaming. Some labels literally pay all of their bills and all of their payroll probably from streaming. That could be a problem for some of those labels. But I think overall, it's there's going to be some idiots that listen to, Sunrise or whatever. And, and it's no big deal. Even people that are completely normal people that know it's AI and they're like, I just like this song. I can understand that. If you like a song, you like a song. There's plenty of people that probably don't even know anything about R. Kelly, but they just like his song. They don't even know who sings the song, and they listen to that song. So, AI is just another thing in. Is it going to take down society? Maybe. But that, then I think music, we're not too worried about the music end of life.
No.
We're worried about our whole civilization and our world.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's my little take. But
no, I agree. I feel like songwriters, like every single person has such a different story. And if they're writing honest music, like it's not going to be something a computer can spit out,
True, but they're not writing honest. Most aren't writing honest music. There are a few songwriters, and we, and they're great. But and there's obviously thousands of those people. If not more than 1,000. But I'm sure there's more than 1,000 honest songwriters. But the percentage is a lot higher of the other way because it's opportunists. Like it's somebody on a laptop. Like this was kind of a thing a while back when EDM became so huge. And Calvin Harris was talking about how he doesn't know anything about music, but he had these huge hit songs that were just like club bangers and he's headlining huge festivals. And he's like, I literally just kind of like figured out a few notes on a keyboard on my computer and threw some samples together. It sounds good, right? Like got somebody to sing on it. Like
that's wild.
Yes, I mean like that's not any really different. I mean, you have to be creative still. You have to like come up with something just because you're not a musician. So with AI, yes, there is obviously put in a prompt, there's a song. But I feel like there's so many different types of music. Some people like fake music. Have you heard, and some people really like real music. Like, I think one of the realest things I've heard is Tom Petty Wildflower. If you listen to the drums.
Oh yeah.
Just the drums sound like if you close your eyes, you're in the room with the drums. And that to me is the highest fidelity. And other people would be like, that sounds bad because it sounds real.
Yeah. I know what you're saying.
But to me, it sounds absolutely perfect. It sounds so good. So it's just, sometimes it's opinion. Some people are just going to like AI because it sounds more real or sounds more fake, more like a robot singing. And they kind of grew up on AI and they grew up on auto-tune and all that. So, when you hear somebody sing a little bit out of tune, to me, it feels real. It feels good. I mean, not always. Sometimes it's like, that's bad. But but the human voice is not perfect. There's just not even Adele. Like now I realize you go back and listen to Adele live at it's somewhere in the UK or it's a really beautiful performance. And it's a live video you can go watch or whatever. And it's amazing. So I'm like, I'm quitting music because she sounds so amazing live.
Oh, yeah.
And then if I really, that's like right when I hear it. And then I think about it and go, there's no way she's that good. There's no way anybody's that good.
Yeah.
That's better than the recording, to be honest. It's better because it's got something more to it. So, they must have fixed it somehow.
Yeah,
like
post-production.
That's in my mind. There's just no other way I can think about it today. It doesn't ruin music for me, of course, but just realize that, gosh, you can really manipulate almost anything these days.
Oh yeah, and lately on the last couple EPs and this record that I did, I do one song on each just live. Like I'll play through the song 3 times, and he'll pick the best take, and we'll use it, and I'll put that on the EP, kind of just as like this is
what it really sounds like.
Yeah, undoctored.
But it sounds good.
You know?
It sounds good.
Yeah. It's nice because it's like I'm not playing with a click, so it speeds up a little bit in the chorus and like slows down back in the verse, and like it ebbs and flows, and like I like that being able to be loose like that. And I don't know, I feel like sometimes that can help you feel a song.
Yeah.
And it's just like I sang that note a little flat, but that's just how it is.
Yeah. That's cool. We did that on a song with Tumble Down. I can't remember the song, but it's on our second record, I think. Maybe it's on our first record. Anyway, but we just sat around, we did a bunch of takes, picked the best one, and that was it. And it sounds slightly more, it sounds more live, it's like got this more live vibe to it, but it doesn't sound not good,
Yeah.
So
it's different.
Yeah. And a lot of like newer modern recordings, they would take that and reprocess every single instrument through a new amp and reamp it and compress it and do this and that, and it could sound almost like you played it on a keyboard. I'm not saying that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's just like you have the ability to literally take something like that and make it sound like a metal band, like you could take your acoustic song and make it sound like a metal band or whatever, add some drums behind it or whatever.
Yeah.
But things are wild. It's just a matter of imagination, time, having obviously some tools at your disposal, but
yeah,
it's wild. And then yet we still find value in simplicity. And I think some of the best songs that come out are the most simple, even today in 2025. Just a simple melody, a simple beat, a simple hook,
Oh yeah.
So bringing it back to acoustics and vocals, like are you planning on doing full band stuff eventually, or is that it kind of lends itself as you grow?
It lends itself to it. It's got parts, and that's what people come up to me after I play. They're like, man, you got to get a band, like all your parts are defined. Like right now what I've done is my brother-in-law, who's also my best friend, he is just an insane musician. He's like one of those people that make you want to quit playing music. And so
like Adele.
He's like Adele. Except
he's going to love that.
Yeah, he'll love that. But he's awesome. And so he is my band right now. So right now we go as a duo. He plays electric guitar with me. Then some songs he switched over to a mandolin. He's singing harmonies with me. So right now we're doing that, and that adds so much more depth to my show than just being by myself.
Right.
And because he rips on the guitar, and so it's really fun to have him with me. So right now I'm doing that, but down the road, once I can afford a band, I want to go have a full band. That'd be a blast.
Hell yeah.
But I feel like it's going to be a minute, but we'll see.
Hey, well, so let's get people going and streaming your record. When's the record coming out?
It's going to come out late September. I'm kind of waiting. I'm going to get it put on vinyl. This is my first record I'm ever getting put on vinyl.
Nice.
So I've got the 7 songs I sent you that are finished, mastered, and mixed, and I got 4 more that he's going to be sending me at the end of this month, and then I'm going to send it off to get it pressed. And so I'm hoping by the end of September it'll be ready, but it could be early October. So I don't have a hard date yet. It kind of depends on how long it takes to get put on vinyl. I've never done it before, so I don't know.
The world's waited long for a while. They can wait a few more months.
It'll be all right. Yes.
Yeah, that's great. All right, cool. Everybody can go stream all your stuff. Just enter in Andrew Vinson, Vinson, right? So
right.
Get that right, Andrew Vinson. Get streaming. The two songs are the two new songs are Left Cross and Chasing Highs.
Yeah, and on the 29th, I've got a third single coming out called Lost at Sea. And this one's a lot different than the other two. It's like a really soft, kind of haunting song with like piano and organ and finger picking. And it's actually, I went on this motorcycle ride and I passed this abandoned house, and I just stopped my bike and the door was open, and I went in and walked around this abandoned house, had old records on the floor, and like, I don't know, it was just a vibe, a feeling there. And I went home and was sitting on my bed, and the song just came. It was like,
wow.
No work. It's one of those easy ones. And my son, I've got 4 kids, my second oldest, Luke, he was sitting on the bed. He goes, "That's a really good song, but it makes me so sad." I was like, awesome. I'm glad it makes him feel something.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so this song is one of my favorites, which typically I don't love like soft songs, but this one, I don't know, it means a lot to me. So that's coming out at the end of the month.
All right. We'll look for that. That's called one more time.
Lost at Sea.
Lost at Sea. Yeah. Right on. Where can people find you, Andrew? Like on socials?
They can find me on social media, Andrew Vinson. My website's andrewvinson.com. I'm on Facebook. I'm on TikTok. I think that might be Andrew Vinson Music. But yeah, I'm on all that. I'm trying to walk that line of like posting content, but not like, it's like I'm a dad with 4 kids. I don't want to be like lip syncing stuff in my closet. Like, so it's like,
yeah, you gotta be yourself. You gotta be yourself. Yeah. Sure.
So I post and stuff, but it's mainly just like me playing in my living room, my wife singing harmonies with me, stuff like that. And then I'm playing these shows and touring a little bit. I'll be in Panama City on Monday, and I'm playing in Bainbridge, Georgia on Saturday. And then I'm playing the Dothan Opera House in Alabama on the 19th. So I'm getting out there as much as I can and playing. So, yeah, I'm loving it. It's a good time.
Excellent, man. Well, thanks for taking the time, man. I appreciate it. I hope the gigs go well. I hope the album goes well, everything.
Yeah. Oh, I appreciate it. Hey, can I tell you one story off this record before we get off here?
Of course.
Okay. So there's this song on the record called Hell Follows Me, and that's going to be the title track for the record. And it's based off a true story. And this is like one of the stories that took a while to like figure out how to put it in a song. But the story is I was playing poker at a buddy's house, and he lives kind of out in the middle of nowhere. And I lived 20 miles from Tallahassee, and I lived about 15 miles from Monticello, which is a really small town. So I'm out in the middle of nowhere, and I'm riding this motorcycle on the way home, and I'd been losing at poker for a couple of weeks. And, losing $15, yeah, losing $15, $20 going home. I don't like that feeling. So that night I decided I'm not going to drink any beer, cause that makes me want to, be too risky. I'm just going to drink coffee. So I'm coming home on a motorcycle, completely stone cold sober. And this car.
Did you win?
I did okay. I broke even.
You broke even? All right, that's winning. Break even is winning.
Still not great, but I was feeling better. Yeah. And so I'm headed home, and this car does a U-turn and gets behind me. I'm like, I'm about to get pulled over, But at least I'm completely sober. This can be fine. And he keeps following me. I'm like, no, that's not a cop. That's like some like Honda Civic or something. And we're out in the middle of nowhere, and he just keeps following me. Finally, I get to my dead-end street, and I turn down the street, and I'm like, if he comes down the street, he's definitely following me. And there's no street lights on this street. It's just a dead-end road out in the middle of nowhere. And I turn my motorcycle around, so I'm facing the main road, and he comes in, and we pass each other maybe going, like 2 miles an hour. And I look over at him, and he's wearing a trench coat with no T-shirt underneath, and he's got like science lab goggles on that are like tinted green. And he looks so scary. I mean, so scary. And he is really tall. He's like a string bean kind of guy, but he's like kind of hunched over in this car. And he's just looking at me with these giant eyes. And I was like, oh my God, this guy's here to kill me. Because I've been at this time, I was painting houses, listening to these podcasts about serial killers.
Of course.
I was already on edge. And so now he's kind of down towards my house, and I'm over here on a motorcycle. I'm like, I got to get down there. Like, I got a wife and 2 kids in the house at that time. So I pulled down my driveway, and my driveway was like a U. And pulled down there, and in my truck, behind the bench seat, I had this 20 gauge shotgun. So I grabbed the shotgun. I pointed my headlight on my motorcycle facing up towards the street. And he's kind of creeping up real slow in his car. And so I get out of the truck and I load the shotgun. It's just like only takes one shell. So you got one shot with this gun. And so I've got this gun. It's loaded. I've got a couple shells in my pocket. I'm standing in front of my motorcycle headlight thinking that'll be enough. You know, it's like, here's a silhouette of somebody with a shotgun. You know, that'd probably be enough to make this guy leave. And he parks his car at the head of my driveway and just turns his car off. And gets out of the car, and when he stands up, I'm like, oh my God, he's huge. And he just lights a cigarette. And we just stand there in complete silence for like 30 seconds. And it felt like an hour. You know, it's like, oh my gosh, what is going on with this guy? And he takes his big drag off his cigarette and he goes, I'm death and hell follows me. And I went, oh my God, he is here to kill me. And so at this point, then I'm just like, it's all adrenaline. I'm like, hey, I got this guy. I'm screaming at him. Like, I got a gun. I got a family. If you come down here, I'm going to kill you. And he keeps talking. It's a bunch of kind of gibberish. Kind of sounds like he's like, you know, reading Revelation to you or something out of the Bible. And then he gets in his car. I'm like, oh, thank God he's leaving. But he just drives to the other end of the driveway. And he gets out and he keeps going. And then he just starts slowly, steadily walking towards me. And so as he's walking towards me, I'm like, my mind's racing. I've yelled at my wife. She hears all this yelling. She leans out the window. She's like, what is going on? I said, you need to call the cops. Like, this guy's about to get killed. I don't know what's happening. And so she's on the phone with the cops, but they're 15 minutes away. And he's walking towards me. And finally, I had to like make a decision. He's about 10 yards away from me. And I pull back the hammer on this shotgun. And in my head, it's just a loop. It's like, I'm going to be okay with this. I'm going to be okay with this. I'm going to be okay with this. If he comes any closer, I got to do this. And right as I put my finger on the trigger, I'm screaming. And it's like everything I've said has gone right over his head. And I said, one more step and I'm going to kill you. And he just lays down on the ground and starts crying.
Whoa.
And I was so relieved. And I held him at gunpoint and he just sobbed. And nothing he was saying was making any sense. And I didn't know what was going on. So finally the cops come down the street and they turn around because they didn't know where I was at. Finally they show up and he's still on the ground crying. At this point I've laid my shotgun down in the grass. The cop comes up, you know, he's like this redneck cop. He's like, man, you did pretty good. I was blowing his head off. I was like, all right. I was kind of scared like I was going to get in trouble or something. Yeah. I don't know. It was just a crazy situation. And the car wasn't his and he had some bag of like neon green powder in his car. And like they took him in the ambulance to the psych ward. And that was the last I ever heard about it. And that was about 6 or 7 years ago. And so the other day I was playing my guitar and this song Hell Follows Me just came to me. And it just came really quick and I wrote it all down. And that's the title track of the record.
Dude, that's amazing. That is amazing. Yeah. All right, I did listen to that, but I'm going to go back and listen to that.
Yeah, that song kind of. You need the story for that song.
Yeah, wild. That is insane. That will leave a mark, you know, on your psyche. On your. That's insane, man. That's intense.
It was intense, and it all worked out. I was so glad that I was completely sober minded and didn't, you know, do that. And that would have been worse. So
you had your coffee. You were alert. You had your coffee.
So. Yeah, I was ready to go.
Amazing story. Amazing. Can't wait for the new record. Man, thanks for being part of this.
Oh, thanks, Mike. I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Appreciate it. And thanks again for the paint job. Amazing.
Yeah, dude. I'm going to be on the road a lot coming up. So if you need any more painting done, you let me know, whether it's in Texas or...
I think my wife wants the whole upstairs now redone. Like, because you did the sort of like the stairway and the foyer and the living room, right?
Yeah, yep, that's right.
That was kind of like when we first moved in over there, and we're still in the same house. So so now we're ready for the top. So you let me know.
All right. We'll barter. We'll make it work out.
All right, sounds good.
All right.
Have a great day. Mike. Yep. Enjoy your week. Go see Andrew live. He's around Tallahassee, around Alabama,
Tennessee, the whole Southeast. I'm going to be touring, so come out and see me.
Excellent. All right. We'll see you down there.
All right.
Peace.
Thanks, Mike.
Yep.
Bye.
Cheers. All right. Thanks to my guest, Andrew Vinson. Check him out anywhere you find music. He's got songs streaming. His new songs are Left Cross and Chasing Highs. The new album will be sometime this fall, but he's playing live everywhere, so can't go wrong. Go check it out. A lot of great stories. Had a great time. If you guys want to see MXPX, we are gonna be in Bend, Oregon, with the Ataris. Friday, September 26th at Century Center. We're gonna be the next night in Boise, Idaho, Saturday, September 27th at Treefort Music Hall. And tickets are on sale for that. We're in Quebec City at Theatre Capitale on October 24th. That's a Friday night. And then Saturday night in Montreal at MTELUS, October 25th. Get your tickets now. MXPX.com. We've got a bunch of merch as well. We've got steak seasoning, which I love. This is kind of my favorite thing we have right now. And it's something that we're going to need to make more of when we sell out of, because people use it. So really digging this stuff. It's been good this summer. We have a bunch of grill stuff up in the store. And to those asking about live stream stuff, eventually this summer when we get our mixes back and when we're ready for it, we will get back on and do some more live streaming. Sooner than later, but not super soon. We're not quite ready. It's like I said, I've said this many times before, it's like losing the NASA losing the technology to go to the moon. It's the only thing that hasn't really progressed since the old days. Anyway, we don't need to get into that. Let's just have a great time. Amidst all of the chaos in the world, I appreciate you guys listening to the podcast. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to it, follow it on wherever you listen. If you're not listening or watching on YouTube and you like to now and again, go over to Mike Herrera Video on YouTube, subscribe to my YouTube. And now and again, it's definitely worth listening to the podcast and watching and seeing the visuals, especially when I have guests, especially when we do Music Mondays, because you see all the music videos for that. All right, you guys, MXPX.com. Shout out to Bob McKnight for producing. Appreciate you, my man. And, keep on living your best lives out there. Cheers.